There is no review I know that compares to that of the review man. Stay in here, you'll be informed of the movie. If you want to read for yourself, simply go out and buy it. Anything you want to, try it. Want a piece of pie, pizza, peach or apple? I don't know. Hey, what's up, guys? Review Man here. I am I've seen this movie on Facebook the other day. I didn't watch the movie on Facebook, but I looked at it. I seen it. This movie is Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka's and the Chocolate Factory. This is like just a basic retelling of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but with Tom and Jerry mix. Tom and Jerry are this cat and mouse that has like an itchy and scratchy feel to it. And Itchy and Scratchy are these two animals from The Simpsons, a cat and a mouse, that are trying to kill and harm each other. Anyway, that's where Tom and Jerry, or is it Tom and Jerry gave him the idea, or Itchy and Scratchy gave them? I don't know. But anyway, the movie starts out with the traditional scene where they're showing the chocolate factory, everything's all fine and dandy and all this other stuff, and then we see old Tom and Jerry. They're starving in the middle of London. It looks like London because I think that's where Willy Wonka's set is, London. But anyway, the movie starts in the middle of London, and then they go into the Candyman shop that sells Charlie the ticket. Sorry, guys. This is driving me crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna continue with the review. They go into the chocolate factory where Charlie buys the ticket at, and then they hear the classic, "The Candyman can coffee mixes it to make the world taste good. Who really Wonka makes everything he makes satisfying and delicious. Talk about your childhood wishes. You can even eat the dishes." And while the Candyman is singing to the kids, you got Tom and Jerry in there trying to get some candy. They're trying to get some food and all this other stuff. And so what they do is, after the song gets over, Jerry comes out with a cupcake, and Tom picks him up. He smashes Jerry, and Jerry's like all covered in icing and all this other stuff. And Tom's about to put Jerry in his mouth, and then Charlie comes to the rescue. He's like, "I'm sorry, I can't allow you to do that." He's like, what are you guys' name? And then they point to this poster, and it says, it was a cherry bomb poster. Tom gets in front of the B, and he makes a T, and so he said, "Okay, your name's Tom." And then Jerry goes the cherry part of it, and he makes a J. He's like, "Okay, you're Jerry. Tom, Jerry, I'm Charlie." And so what they do is, he says, why were you guys doing this? And they were like, everybody knows Tom and Jerry can't talk, but if you watch what was that movie? It's like Tom and Jerry Saves the Day or something like that. They actually talk, and it's actually the dude that played what's that guy's name? Bing Bong from Inside Out. The guy that plays that clown. I'm not sure forgot the dude's name, but it'll come to me. Well, after I get done with this review, probably. But anyway, the movie goes on. Charlie gives Tom and Jerry some bread and he gives them a business card that says Charlie Bucket's paper delivered. And so they eat the bread, and they go back to Tom and Jerry go back to the chocolate factory, and they don't go back to the chocolate factory, they go back to the candy store. They see this dog delivering Wonka bars, and they're trying to steal the Wonka bars, and then they go back into they get chased back into the they get chased back into the candy store, and they throw the dog out the window. He's like, "You thieves!" And so the next day, the contest is announced. No, so the next day, the contest is announced about the chocolate bars and all this other, about the golden tickets, the chocolate bars, and all this other stuff. And one by one, they're being found. And then one day, they're and Augustus finds the first one. Violet finds you know the story. Augustus finds the first one. Veruca finds the second one. Violet finds the third one. Mike TV finds the fourth one. The fifth one is a fake. The fifth one is fake by this guy who lives in South America. And this is the funniest part of one of the funniest parts of the entire movie. The guy who fakes the candy bar is played by Droopy. Going down, sir. Yes, and this is quite a wonder. Yes, this is quite a wonder. I found the fifth ticket. But anyway, and then Charlie's crushed. Charlie gets crushed because Charlie gets crushed because he thinks the last ticket's a fake. And Charlie's sitting in school. Tom and Jerry, Jerry gets the idea to do a bottle deposit to get some money, and the bottle deposit, they get I think they get like a quarter or something, or like a silver dollar or something like that, and they drop the silver dollar in the sewer, and Tom ties Jerry to a string, and he's lowering them down in the sewer, and the coin rolls off. And you remember the scene in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where Charlie finds the dollar in the store? That's how that happened. And so Charlie finds that. Charlie goes into the candy store, finds the shop owner of the candy store, finds the box that he finds the box that Tom and Jerry gave back. That Tom and Jerry took back to the store because they took the box of candy bars to Charlie's house, and everybody was like, "Charlie, it's a feast, it's a feast." Charlie was like, and him being the good boy that he is, he said, "No, we can't. We gotta take them back. They don't belong to us." Charlie, you're the good boy, but you rather take the candy bars back. I reckon I commend that. I commend that. You want to do a track? I commend that. Excuse me, guys. And then they take the candy bars back. They put them back in get them back in the candy store. And then the next day, whenever the shop owner opens up the store, he said, "I must have missed this box." And then the box has the golden ticket in it that Charlie finds. Charlie peels open the ticket. Everybody's like, "Run home, Charlie! Run until you get there! Don't stop! Don't stop! Don't stop!" And then, whenever he's running, Tom and Jerry are going along with him. They run into Slugworth. Slugworth is Willy Wonka's nemesis, our bad guy, our enemy. And he's basically telling them that Willy Wonka's got this gobstopper that he's working on. If you get it, I'll give you like all this money and stuff. And Tom and Jerry are trying to stop him from convincing Charlie. And then they breaks out into this song. I want the whole world. I'm gonna get Willy Wonka's. I'm gonna get Willy Wonka's entire castle in the middle of me. Don't care how. I want it now. And that's a song that Violet sings in the dumpster room. That's the song that she sings in the dumpster room. And so what they do is they go back. He runs to his house, and he's there at the house. He's Grandpa Joe and him. He says, "Here you go, Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe said, I gotta go on a ticket, I gotta go on a ticket. And then everybody's dancing and singing and having a good time. And so they get ready to, and then he says, Grandpa, on the way home, I ran into Mr. Slugworth. And then the next day is the day of the tour. And they're getting ready to leave for the tour. They leave the golden ticket at the house. And Tom and Jerry, they gotta run to the factory to try to give Grandpa Joe the ticket. And along the way, they get in a fight with the dog that was delivering the candy bars, called them the candy thief. They rescue the golden ticket from a bird, and then just in the nick of time, they give Jerry goes up to runs up Grandpa Joe's leg, gets in his pocket, and gives Grandpa Joe's the ticket. Gotta take a break. Okay, break's over. And then Charlie, everybody goes in the factory. Everybody goes in the factory. Everybody goes in the factory. They are and then Tom and Jerry are on the outside. They go around this bush, and they see Slugworth going into the factory, and he knocks on Wonka's gate, and it turns out it's the dog that was calling them the candy thief. And so he reveals this plan that he wants Slugworth to. He reveals this plan that Slugworth wants to steal the ticket, and he's using Charlie to get the Gobstopper. Like you don't know the story already. And so they go into the gate. Tom and Jerry get through the gate. They fight the dog, and they're in the middle of the factory. They get in the factory somehow, and they get on this like candy bar making machine. The candy bar making machine stops after it turns the dog into a box of chocolates. And Tom and Jerry's looking around, and they get rescued by this Oompa Loompa named Tuppy. And Tuppy, he's a mouse. He looks like a mouse, but he's actually an Oompa Loompa in training. And Tuppy just tells him that the Oompa Loompas were brought here by Mr. Wonka, and that they were being brought here by Wonka, and pretty much everything that Wonka tells about Oompa Loompas in the story, they're being filled in. And this mouse is pretty much taking the Wonka role of the whole movie, but with the Tom and Jerry. And so what they do is they go down this Tuppy, Tom, and Jerry go down this hallway that leads them to the chocolate room in the factory. And then the chocolate room, they get there right whenever the tour's being brought in that way. And then Wonka leads the kids and the parents into the tour, and telling them to have some fun by singing in Pure Imagination, plucks Mike's hair out, and then everybody's eating and having a good time. Tom and Jerry, they're having a good time and eating, and they're trying to lay low because Wonka doesn't want cats, dogs, mice in the factory. And while all this is going on, Tom and Jerry and Tuppy, they're trying to tell Wonka about Slugworth. And while this is going on, Charlie's like, once Augustus falls in the river, gets up the pipe, Charlie's like, Grandpa, I think I just saw Tom and Jerry. He's like, Tom and Jerry? Impossible. And so they get on the boat. Tuppy calls his own boat, and he sings "There Is No Earthly Way of Knowing Which Direction We Are Going." That's pretty much the song that Wonka sings on the boat. And then all the images, all the creepy images thing, and all this other stuff. And so what they do is they get to the inventing room. I'm sorry, guys. They get to the inventing room, and they find they pretty much find everything that goes on in the inventing room, and Tuppy's like, this is the inventing room, and all this other stuff, and don't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that, and all this other stuff. And Wonka gives everybody the gobstopper. Tuppy gives Tains the gobstopper. But by this time, after Violet got turned into a blueberry, Tuppy, Tom, and Jerry are fighting Slugworth and his dog, and by fighting them like all this stuff, and then the dog decides to eat a gobstopper. No, this dog decides to eat a gum dinner, and so he turns into a blueberry. He rolls into Slugworth, and then they're fighting the dog and Tuppy. They're fighting the dog and Slugworth, and all this stuff is going on. And Tom has a gobstopper in his mouth that Slugworth is trying to get back. And then Wonka gets all ticked off because he finds cat hair on the unlickable wallpaper, because Tom, Jerry, and Tuppy, they were all stuck to the lickable wallpaper. And then Grandpa Joe's like, that's no cat hair, that's part of my mustache. And then what he does is takes the cat hair, and Wonka was like, oh, I'm sorry I ever doubted you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And so the movie goes on. Violet becomes a blueberry. Then they find that. And then the next room that they go to is the fizzy lifting drink room. The fizzy lifting drink room. This is where Grandpa Joe and Charlie drink the fizzy lifting drink. They go up in the air, and they're like, "Oh, we can't get down. Then Tuppy, Tom, and Jerry come in. Tuppy, what he does is he said, we gotta give Grandpa Joe and Charlie the burp. And so what happens is, Jerry shoots up in the air, and he burps Charlie and Uncle Phil. He burps Charlie and Grandpa Joe on the back of the neck, and then so they burp. And by this point, Slugworth and the dog catches up to him. They bring Tuppy gives Tom a bunch of fizzy lifting drink, and so what that does is it turns Tom into a float, and he goes flying all throughout the factory and all this other stuff into the candy cane mines. And the dog gets the same thing, and the dog was like, "Nah, I'm more of a lemonade guy myself." And so what they go flying through they catch up to him, going all through the mines, gets in a cart, and by this point the tours reaches the golden egg room. Veruca starts singing her song about how she wants everything. She goes down the tube. Slugworth obtains the gobstopper, because simultaneously while they're in the egg room, they're down in the mines. He gets the gobstopper. Then they all then he's like, "Oh man, all hope is lost." And he's like, "Success." And they're both singing the "I Want It Now" song. I want it now, don't care how, I want it now. And then Tuppy, Tom, and Jerry, they're get thrown down this garbage chute, and they get thrown down the garbage chute. They're meeting Veruca and her dad as they're going down, and then they almost get burned in the incinerator. Tom gets burned in the incinerator. Everybody else makes it out, but then Tuppy, he goes back to the sorry, I'm trying to. He puts Tom together. He put Tom back together, and while they're singing the song about while no bloomers are singing a song about Violet, they're going down the garbage chute. Almost get burned in the incinerator, and then next is the TV room, and then everybody like catches up to the TV room. Mike gets zapped into a million pieces and then sent by Wonka Vision. And then Wonka says, Charlie, Grandpa, after they sing a little song about Mike TV and being how you shouldn't watch too much TV and all this other stuff. Grandpa Joe says, where's the chocolate? Where's Charlie watching out chocolate? He broke the rules, and then no, Wonka says, oh, I'm terribly sorry, whole day wasted. Then next we see is that Tuppy, Tom, and Jerry, they come back through the door that Wonka just went into. They come back to the door that Wonka told them that you can go out that way. And saying, sorry. Kind of got a little cold here. Anyway, we're almost done with the movie. And so, they're thinking Slugworth's about to get away with the gobstopper. And Tuppy says, not if I can help it, not if I use Wonka Vision. And so what they do is they're pressing like all these, they're trying to find them, and they're pressing like all these buttons. Slugworth gets zapped from the front of the building to the TV room. And then Tom is like playing with all these buttons, trying to use them, trying to mess with them a little bit, gets to send them through Wonka Vision and doing all this other stuff through Wonka Vision. And then everybody else, like, they're doing some crazy stuff. Tuppy and Jerry get ahead, share a body. Everybody's like getting like all this, doing like all this other words happening because Tom's over here pressing like all these buttons. And then what happens next after that? Oh yeah, they all go back to normal, and he says, finally, Charlie, I have it. Now that we have two gobstoppers, because he has one and Charlie had one. Now that we have two gobstoppers, we can rule the candy world. Charlie points the remote at him that controls the Wonka Vision. And then he says, then they go back to small. And then after that, and then that causes Tuppy, one of the transformation causes Tuppy to go 4 inches, a few inches, and then he can become Willy Wonka, Oompa Loompa. He couldn't become an Oompa Loompa before because he was too short. And so the movie goes on. He confronts Willy Wonka and he gives him back the gobstopper. And Wonka said, Charlie, my boy, you won. You did it. You won. I knew you would. I just knew you would. I knew you would. And so then he says, come on in, Mr. Wilkinson. I had to pass you. You passed the test. He said, come on in, Mr. Wilkinson. He's like, that's Slugworth. That's not Slugworth. And then Mr. Wilkinson says, yeah, I'm not Slugworth. I just had to put you to the test. You won. You passed. Good job, all that. And Tom is not convinced. He gets the remote. He shrinks Wilkinson or slash Slugworth and the dog and puts them in this drawer. And then the movie ends with them shooting out of the elevator and Tuppy becoming an Oompa Loompa, an official Oompa Loompa instead of an intern. And then he said, how do you like the factory, Charlie? Whenever they're flying in the elevator, he's like, this thing is the most wonderful place in the whole world. And he's like, I'm very glad to hear you say that because I'm giving it to you. And he's like, you're giving it to me? Yeah, I can't go on forever and I really don't want to try. Oh wait, that's part of the other movie. And he's like, your family can move in, and Tom and Jerry too, they can move in as well. And so yeah, that was Tom and Jerry and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It was a retelling of the original movie, but it was good. Anyway guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and I will hope to bring back some more videos. I'm almost done with Condemned Criminal Origins, and I have a few more videos I want to bring down the line. Don't forget to subscribe because I really want to do this 100 subscriber challenge. And yeah guys, so anyway, have a good day, do whatever you're gonna do, be awesome to each other, And I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Have a good one.